Hey guys, it's Mika here, and I'm going to show you how to weave using old t-shirts and cardboard. So the ruler is optional, but this is the stuff you're going to need. The t-shirts I have here are stained and they have holes in them, so I can't really donate them, so I'm going to find another way to upcycle them. And so you're going to want to get a piece of cardboard. It could be any size. You can make this as big as you want, but just for demonstration, I'm going to make it pretty small. And this is where you're going to need your ruler. You're going to want to make little strikes, and whatever you do one side, you're going to want to do the other. You can use a popsicle stick too, but the smaller your notches are, the closer they are together, the tighter your weave is going to be. And so you're going to want to make just a tiny cut. You don't want to cut it all the way. You just want to cut to where your line is. And that's going to be pretty much the base of our loom. So here are the shirts. I've already kind of ripped them up. The best thing to use would be like cotton because it stretches out really well, but you can use whatever you have. So here I've kind of cut them into stripes. Like they're not all the same. I kind of just eyeballed it. So it doesn't have to be perfect. And here I'm kind of just doing one more. And I'm just cutting it. And it's going to be kind of like our yarn. You could also do this activity with yarn. You don't have to do it out of old t-shirts. You're probably just going to need a lot of yarn. And just to reinforce my loom, I'm going to attach 2 popsicle sticks at each end. And what that's also going to do is make sure I don't rip the cardboard down. So it's going to really help maintain the structure of our loom. So this is kind of a must. So you're going to want to go back and kind of just make sure the cuts are exactly the size. And the next thing you're going to do is you're actually going to need a bit of like yarn or a very like thin piece of fabric, and that's going to be the base of your loom. So as you can see, I'm using yarn. It doesn't matter what type of yarn it is. You just want it to be very thin. And you're going to wrap it around pretty firmly like that. And I'm going to use a piece of tape just to secure it. But make sure you don't go too hard, otherwise you're going to bend your cardboard. And the last thing you want to do is bend your cardboard because it's going to change the shape of your loom. As you can see, I'm being very careful to pull it tight, but not pull it really tight. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stretch each string out. This is why you're going to want cotton, because it stretches out really nicely. My other shirt was made out of like polyester and it didn't stretch out. It didn't get as small. And you're going to use a popsicle stick to prop it up so you can guide your yarn, your t-shirt yarn through. And if you're using cotton, you want to stretch out each strip before you use it because it'll kind of fold within itself and be very thin. That's what you want. As you can see, I'm guiding it over and under, over and under, over and under, and that's pretty much all there is to it. And because I use 2 colors, I'm kind of just switching them out. And every time you finish a row, you want to push it up to make sure it's very tight. But you also want to be careful not to pull it too tight, otherwise you're going to get some warping at the sides, as you can see there. So I'm kind of trying to stretch it out a bit, but it's only something that'll get better as you practice. And the tighter you want your loom to be, it's better because it just means it's more secure and it'll be more stable. And if you want like a tighter, very tight loom, what you can do is you can make more notches at the top, like more than I did. It'll be like a lot more like strings to wind it around, but it'll give you a more stable, more smaller like little knits. The idea is you kind of want to get rid of all of seeing like the yarn unless it's at the top. And as you can see, I'm like really trying to push it up, make sure you can't see any. And if you decide to make a bigger loom, a really good trick would be using either a plastic yarn needle, or you can kind of tie whatever fabric you're going to use around a popsicle stick and guide it through. You can also do this with regular yarn. It doesn't have to be t-shirt yarn, but it's going to take a lot more time and patience. As you can see, I'm finishing up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the sides off and I'm going to kind of make it into a coaster. And that's the best way to use mine, especially since it's such a small size. But if you're doing a bigger one, what you can do is you can kind of cut and secure the bottom and attach the top yarns to like a stick or another popsicle stick and make it into like a really nice wall hanging. As you can see, you can attach that part that I'm cutting off and tying into a stick, and it'd be really cute to hang. But I'm kind of just making knots and securing it because I want to use mine as a coaster. So this is just a neat way to teach you how, a beginner way to teach you how to weave. And you can kind of take this project as big or as small as you want it to be. And it's just a great way to recycle fabrics that you don't need anymore. You can see I'm just cutting off the excess. And there you go. There's a coaster. I hope you enjoyed this little project, and I hope you decide to do it. Thanks for watching, guys.